Welcome back to the MiniVision Dollhouse series. Today we're stepping into our first official room, the dining room. This episode focuses on the structure and architecture of the space before any furniture moves in. Along the way, we'll uncover many design experiments, flooring failures, magnetic pop lamps, and just a little bit of demolition chaos. To start us off, the dining room needed some serious prep work. The original stairs had been loved to death, which made them surprisingly easy to remove. I hope to bring this room back to a clean slate by scraping away old layers and peeling back wallpaper. Using my sander, I could get rid of the last remnants of the wallpaper and start smoothing everything back. I prepped the walls with a primer, one of my favorite moments because it makes everything feel brand new again, even for just a moment. For this room, my first design challenge was the staircase. Throughout the creation of the dining room, I sketched out ideas, tested placements, and played with layout plans. It's such a major part of the story of this house, symbolically and structurally. I knew it would need its own full tutorial, so when you're done here, head over to the separate staircase video to see how it came to life. Back in the dining room, these bare bones needed some style. So I cut and glued miniature window trims scaled down to mimic real-world architecture. I glued these same trims for the inside of the front door frame. I loved these black and white stripes and had decided to keep them as a tribute to my friend's original design and the house's earlier life. If you know me, you'd be able to guess that I repainted those stripes more times than I want to admit. I even initially painted the top and bottom trims black, only to later decide they should be white. But for now, it was back to priming those windowsills. The right-hand edge of the windowsill had been chipped. So instead of replacing the whole thing, I rebuilt it using my multi-purpose filler. By adding more than I needed, I could sand that edge back to smooth perfection once it dried. My Dollhouse sidekick helped me lay down the first layer of paint over the trims and ceiling in antique white. This is my favorite house paint color, and I used it in my own real-life house renovations. Just one more reason to call this place home. My mini-me had also picked out the wall color for our dining room, called Marshmallow Magic, a soft, blushy pink. Thanks to Frankie taking the stairs for a test drive, this is when I realized that the existing floor cutout for the staircase no longer matched the new design. Frankie helped me guesstimate how large I'd have to cut this hole so that it was fully playable. While recutting the stair hole made sense, it also made a mess. This meant repairing the striped wall with filler. I sanded everything smooth and gave it another test run. But after removing some of the floor, I felt the upstairs level needed better support. I decided to incorporate a wooden support beam. I popped my beam in where I'd like it to go and marked everything out to guide me along the rest of the way. Then, for the second time, I started to repaint my stripes. This is a scary process, as one mistake in black meant a lot of headaches later trying to fix it up in white, which I did a lot. But eventually I got it to a place where I was happy. The last change we had to make for the dining room structure was the drilling of the ceiling lamp hole and mount. This was based on my own design for a ceiling light, which started as a plastic cup. I carefully drilled a hole into the top, making sure not to crack the plastic with heavy-handedness or impatience. I decorated the cup with ribbon by gluing and wrapping it. The bulb was the lid of a perfume bottle I had, but it seemed to sit too high in the cup. I improvised by gluing layers of foam donuts together so that I could fit them around the nut that I would eventually screw to hold the cup into place. This extra padding allowed the bulb to sit lower, but the ribbon helped to hide those foam donuts. Now I just needed the perfect spot for the ceiling lamp, using the dining table placement as reference. I drilled the hole from the second floor and installed the screw fitting. I sunk the screw and filled it in with my filler, sanding it smooth so it would be hidden under the future floorboards. I tested the light fixture and did a happy little dance. It was still too soon to install it permanently, but for now we were able to move on to the floors, which were actually looking very rough after all this renovation. So I sanded everything back. This included scraping up glue and paint I dripped along the way. After being sure all the dust was gone, I could measure and plan. Each room of the dollhouse felt so similar in shape and size, but with small adjustments depending on layout and skirting boards. To help me wrap my head around it, I made miniature templates that I could then transfer over to my flooring. They were adorable and really helpful for my visually orientated brain. I originally used paper dollhouse flooring, but this was to be my first major fail. The glue caused the paper floors to bubble and ripple instantly.
Yeah, it's stuck.
All right, we need to pull it up.
Yeah.
It was going to take a while to scrape back and re-smooth our surface for new flooring, which gave me time to try and find some. I got really lucky and found this beautiful vinyl wrap designed for a butcher's block, meaning smaller scaled planks I could use to my advantage. I could still use my adorable miniature template to make sure that I wasn't cutting anything back to front, as I'd need to flip it over and get ready to stick it down. Although this vinyl comes with a sticky backing, I'm always a little bit paranoid, so I use glue for security. I used a popsicle stick to slowly scrape away the bubbles like I was wrapping school books. With some final touches, I could truly bask in the glory of these beautiful floors. It felt like a dollhouse dream come true, sliding the staircase back into place with a new support beam hole cut in. It was time to secure the staircase into its final position. I applied glue to both the staircase and the wall and pushed them together tightly. I added glue at the back seams and wiped away any excess. I knew there were gaps, and I'd even chipped the front of my stairs. So once my glue had dried, I laid down some tape to protect my precious floors, and using my favorite multi-purpose filler, I filled every joint until it was seamless. Removing the tape was very satisfying, but what was more satisfying was repainting each seam around the staircase as though it had always been there. I could now install the support beam. Cut exactly to size, it did make me work to get it into place. But once it was there, I knew it was doing its job and holding strong. I tied the look together by installing pre-painted trimmings at the top to match the windowsill and door frame. I made sure every seam was smooth and flawless with my filler. Even seams I thought no one was ever gonna see. The moment had arrived when I could install my ceiling lamp, including screwing the nut to hold the cup, the layers of foam, and then the bulb, bringing that sense of atmosphere into the room. I also added a wall-mounted hanging pot plant right at the divider between the dining room and the kitchen. But it's just a little preview of what's to come in the kitchen makeover episode, so stay tuned. The dining room did have its own pot plant, one that my sidekick had insisted needed to sit on the windowsill. So I got to crafting, starting with 2 blocks of craft foam cut to shape. I had originally made 2 as I wasn't sure what size or shape would suit best. I wrapped them both in epoxy sculpt and sanded them smooth before painting them. I ultimately decided on the smaller pot, and as a doll lover, I know how irritating it is to have small items get knocked over while you play. So I decided to install a magnet in both the bottom of the plant and the windowsill itself. I did change my mind on the color scheme last minute. I cut the plants from another miniature bought online from Temu. I stuck a skewer into the plant hole to keep it clear for later and covered the top in shavings from all my woodwork to act as convincing dirt. Cutting and inserting the complementary magnet into the windowsill only required a quick test of where the pot plant should sit before cutting the hole, gluing in the magnet, filling, and painting. It was very fun testing it out. The rest of the dining room was made up of built-in decor, such as an adorable key hook purchased from Temu, because how could I say no to that? I'd also wanted a beautiful piece of wall art to take up this vacant space, and so I decided on a landscape painting. It was such an enjoyable process to paint a beautiful miniature painting like this. When it was done, I glued it into its frame and then into place on the wall. The next piece of wall art was a beautiful butterfly display. I had actually made this all the way back at the start of the dollhouse. It was one of the very first things I made and was at a point where I felt most rusty and awkward. There's something so sweet about them and what they represent, so they may be one of my favorite things in the dollhouse. The structure of the dining room was now completely finished. The only thing missing was the furniture. If you want to see how I made all my dollhouse furniture, be sure to stay tuned. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey, and I hope you've enjoyed the evolution of the dining room. Make sure you hang around for our next episode as we explore the bedroom with its own challenges and satisfying wins. Until then, let me know what your favorite part of the dining room was and what you would add. See you at the sleepover.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel to show your support. See you next time!